Little fish are sweet. Well, what does that mean? So, I know I use a lot of analogies in my lessons, and this is a lesson that comes from a famous Yorkshire phrase. Now, I'm from Yorkshire, and the phrase goes, "Little fish is sweet, they know," which means little fish are sweet, and it's an expression that says to remind you that little fish can make your belly full while you're waiting on the big fish to come. So don't focus all your attention on the big fish. Don't focus all of your needs and wants and desires around a big fish. Count the little fish as they come in, because as you're fishing, you will catch many little fish to one big fish. And so the point of the lesson is to emphasize the value and appreciation of small wins. This is another reason why I go so hard on tracking things and on writing down at least 5 wins every evening that I've had that day. Because when you write down things that are wins, even if it's as simple as getting out of bed on time, I didn't hit snooze, I made my bed, I went for my walk, like, even when you're in the beginning, like, I don't write down I went for my walk as a win anymore, right? Because I go for a walk every day. But in the beginning, when you're struggling to move forward, that little win, taking that little fish and popping it there in your bucket, it will keep you fed, it will keep you happy, and it will keep you moving on towards the goal. Because we focus on the big, big opportunities. We focus on, oh my God, I don't have this contract. Oh my, I hope this launch goes well. Oh, I hope I get the promotion. All that stuff. We focus on the big, big things. And we forget to focus and be grateful for the little fish. And it's especially important that you keep this kind of mindset in business, because in business, it's the constant accumulation of small wins that make the foundation and leads to significant wins over time. That's what we do over 90 days. We have small wins and small wins and small wins. And when we look back, we can see, holy shit, we've had massive wins all in this area. But it didn't come like as one massive win. It came as loads and loads and loads and loads of tiny little drops, all dropping down in the win column, right? All dropping in. All of a sudden, boom, you've got a tsunami. So by understanding that little fish are sweet, what we're doing is recognizing and celebrating all the small victories. Like, again, for yourself, if you're doing this for self improvement, it could be just, hey, I got everything on my list done today. That's a win. Or, hey, I had a bad conversation with my significant other, but we didn't fight and we came to a resolution and we walked away happy. That's a win. It's a huge win. In business, it could be meeting a sales quota, right? It could be everybody showing up to the meeting on time. Um, that's just little things like that you don't write down and you don't remember. That those things aren't for granted, right? You can't take them for granted. You got to say, wow, that was a little win, because minor achievements and checking them off as you go. They're like motivational indicators that we're actually moving forward. And we often seek instant gratification and we just go straight for that fucking win or that big thing or that major breakthrough. And it doesn't work like that in the real world. In the real world, success is like, it's the result of your cumulative actions. It's the result of catching a bunch of little fish and being grateful for those little fish and feeding off those little fish. And then when the big fish come along, everybody high fives and it's great, but we're not dependent on the big fish. We're not sad because we don't have a big fish. We're happy, we're counting our little fishes. You can get anywhere you want to go through continued, persistent effort. And so if you treat these little wins, as little fishes, how many little fishes can I put in my bucket today? Because you're feeding your soul with wins. You're feeding yourself with gratitude. In business, again, working towards our goals, I want us to focus on, I'm not sure the best way to put this, strategic increments, strategic incrementalism, whatever you want to call it, right? Little fish in small increments. You've got to focus on making continuous small improvements to your products and to your services, and above all to your processes, right? And when we use the concept of build, measure, learn, every single tiny little win on there, every little increment that we nudge ourselves forward, we've got to remember that's another little fish in the bucket. Especially in business, when you're putting together products, when you're putting together MVPs and launches and all that stuff, you can work incredibly hard for months and months and months and months and see little to no revenue. And it's very easy, especially when you're the one leading the team. If you've got no revenues coming in and all you've got is expenditures, it's very difficult to accept progress. And it's very easy to say, hey, man, we're not getting where we want to go fast enough. And one of the points of strategic incrementalism, of doing things in small increments with a plan, is that you can look down your list and you can see small win, small win, small win, small win. I remember business is 90% psychological. So it's up here in your head where, oh, I'm not winning, I'm not winning, I'm not winning, because you haven't reached that goal. You haven't reached that product launch. You haven't reached, your test market fit best product. You don't know what it is. Everything's fucked up. It's up in the air. This is how it works. Right? But with small incremental wins, you can take everything that looks like a mess and you can go, actually, well, this is done, and this is done, and this is done, and this is integrated, and this is working. And you can see your progress. So it's very, very, very important to count the little fish, because you can get fat off of little fish, and you can stay in business off of little fish, and you can pay your bills with little fish. You'll get the big fish. It'll come. A lot of guys that go fishing, they catch little fish and use that as the bait for the big fish. There's another lesson there. Small wins. You can use that capital, that drive, that momentum to work towards your big wins. And so the little fish is sweet philosophy. Don't ever poo-poo a win. Mark it down, write it down, put a check mark next to it, say I won this today. Because what happens with each win, with each little fish, you take a step forward. And then that step forward makes you pleased, and it makes you smile, and it makes your chest puff out a little bit. And it creates this positive feedback loop that allows you then to dive back into the business and go get another win and another win and another win. So by counting these wins and by having us log them down every night, right, what we're actually doing is we're creating momentum, and we're putting ourselves inside of a feedback loop of positivity that creates momentum. And we use these small wins as stepping stones. Win one, win two, win three, win five. And when you can look back over this 90 days, and when you can flick back through your notes, like I can here, right? Every single day, it's not showing up. Every single day, I've got 5 wins. So no matter how I'm feeling at this particular moment in time, at any particular moment in time, I can pick up a notepad and I can see evidence of 90 days in a row of me being a winner. Like, that's so important, because most of us are on this journey alone. Like, we're alone, or we're alone with a partner, just the two of us. But you're the guy leading. You're the girl leading. Like, you're in charge of your own shit. And so being able to look on a bad day and turn those pages over in that notebook and go, you know what? I'm standing on the back of 45 days of wins. I'm having a day where I can't find a win. Let's count the small wins and let's go again. That's what's important here. So you really, really, really want to count those little fish as wins. Count all the wins. Fill your bucket with little fish. Right? Each win is a step forward. Each step forward creates a positive feedback loop in your mind, and you feel as though you're a winner. You feel as though you're successful, because you can look down at that page and you can validate it. And you can say, wow, I'm doing great. Compared to where I was when I started this, I'm doing great. So keep going, keep that momentum, count your little fish, and those are your stepping stones towards your bigger wins. All right, that's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the next one.